Hi there, welcome to the Upcycle Design Lab. If this is your first time here, I'm so happy to have you join me. And if you've been here before, welcome back. My name's Cindy and I craft using recycled and repurposed materials to give you ideas on ways to make and create more economically and ecologically. Did you know you could use these instead of twine? Step into the lab with me and let me show you what I mean. In my last video, which was just a quick 2-minute tutorial, I covered how to make this plastic rope, and you can make it in different widths. This is actually a piece of bag that's cut into 8 pieces, and this is a bag that's cut into 4 pieces, and then you just wind it with a crochet hook. So if you need more details on how to actually make this rope, I will put the link to my 2-minute tutorial in the description box of this video. So in this video, I wanted to use some of the rope to make some projects. The first project is these little flowers, and you've probably seen them if you've checked out any twine projects. You can make them any way you want. I just have a little button here, and I've cut a couple of pieces of my twine or my plastic rope in the smaller diameter. And I found that it's easier just to kind of glue the ends together first. So be careful, but you can put a little hot glue on the tip, and then once it's cooled a little bit, you can just pinch the ends together. When the pieces are this short, they might come untwisted too, so you might want to put a little twist back in them. I'm just kind of making all of my petals. And then I can go ahead and glue them to the button. So of course you can make these in any kind of variety. I have some with some extra petals. This one's just going to be a little bit smaller. And I think they make cute bows for wrapping packages. You could put a magnet on them and make refrigerator magnets or decorate a frame. So there's just a lot of ways to use these, and they're very quick and simple to make. So that's the first quick little project. Next up is this cute little butterfly, and it's made in a similar fashion to the flowers. I have some pieces of my small cording again, cut in about 4.5-inch pieces, and I'm just making them the same way I did the petal shapes. And then I've got one of these little clothespins from the Dollar Tree, a tiny piece of black wire, and a toothpick. So I'm just going to assemble these guys. Take my wire and just kind of fold it in half. And I just thought it was cute to wind the ends around this toothpick to make them a little curly, so I'm going to do that. And you could use these for magnets or package wrappings or decorations of decorating different things, just like the flowers. For my next project, I'm going to be switching to the thicker cording, and I'm just going to start making a tight coil with my fingers, just about 3 turns so that I can hold it. And I've got a piece of parchment paper here. I'm just going to put a small bit of glue on the parchment paper, and I'm going to press my coil into that and just let it cool. The trick on this one is not to get too much glue, because you don't want it to push through onto the top. You want to keep it on the bottom and kind of in the sides. So once that's cooled, I'm going to leave it kind of stuck to the parchment paper because it's just a little easier to work with. I'm going to put just a small 2-inch, 3 inches of glue along the side of my coil here. And then I'm just gonna kind of drag the rope through the glue and pull it tight to the coil. And I'm just going to continue on until I have it the size that I want. Once you've got the size you want, you can remove it from the parchment paper. And then you can see that it's got some sort of empty spots here where there isn't any glue. So what I like to do is just go back and fill in with some glue. You can do this more than once, so you don't have to do the whole back side. I'm just going to put some extra glue on there, and then I'm going to flip it back over and flatten out the bottom. And if you need to, you can trim the excess glue off of the edge, and you've got some good weatherproof outdoor coasters. Next up is this little pumpkin. So to make that, you need quite a bit of cording. Again, I'm using my thicker version. I have a little bit of florist wire. You don't have to do this. I've seen a lot of people use twigs for the tops of their pumpkins, but I just happen to have this green cording, so I'm going to use the green cording as well. And then you need something to wrap your coil around. So I'm just using this can of hairspray because it seems like it's a good size. So the first thing I want to do is take a piece of my wire, and I'm just going to tape it lengthwise on the can. I have a little bit of painter's tape here. And then I'm going to wrap my cording around the can about 15 times. You don't want it so long that you can't hold it, and this makes a good, this makes a third of the pumpkin, so it's a good section. It's about the right amount to hold because it gets a little awkward. So I have 15 coils here. I'm going to go ahead and cut my end off, and then I'm going to take the tape off of my wire, kind of center it a little better. And then I'm going to slide my coils off of the can, and I want to kind of tighten the wire as I go. So that's one section. I just need to do that 2 more times. So I've got my 3 sections now, and what I want to do is I want to find the 2 ends of my cording and pull them to the top, and then I'm just going to wrap my wire around them. And then I'm going to take my first section and put some hot glue right in the center and glue the first 2 pieces together. Then I can add a little bit more glue and add the last section. So once the glue is cooled off, you can certainly kind of go back in and reshape your pumpkin, but before we do that, I want to finish off my top here. And I'm just going to use the hot glue and some cording to wind around the top piece here to make my stem. So you can wrap this as far up as you want and then just trim off the excess plastic. And I like the wire on there because it allows you to kind of shape the stem a little bit. So it takes a little reshaping, but I think it makes some cute little pumpkins. Next up, I'm going to be using an empty plastic container. This is just an old cottage cheese container, and I've gone ahead and I've put a primer coat of paint on it, and then if you want to you can punch a hole in the bottom too if you want it to drain. And then I'm going to be adding a little bit of color just because I think it makes the finished product look a little bit better rather than not painting the container. And I'm going to do it in my very lazy painting style. I just have a couple of brown craft paints here, and I'm going to not worry about covering the whole container. I'm just going to kind of dab on some color with a paper towel. I'm not even going to worry about covering up all the white. I just want to kind of camouflage the print that's on the container. So now I'm just going to set that aside to dry. So my container is dry, and I'm just going to start with my plastic rope here and some hot glue, and I'm going to just glue around the base and all the way up the sides. It's a pretty simple project. You've probably seen people do this with twine, but this is just a totally upcycled way to make a little pot for your small plants. To finish the top edge, I like to make the coil a little wider. So I'm going to actually attach this last bit to the last wrap that I did with my cording so that I can make it a little thicker at the top here. And once you're done, you're probably going to have a lot of those glue hairs that you're going to need to clean up, but they pull off pretty easily, and then you have a nice finished pot for a small plant. So which project is your favorite? Let me know in the comments. Be sure to check the description box for my quick tutorial on how to spin plastic bag rope. And if you enjoyed this content, please like this video, share it with your crafty friends, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon to manage your notifications so you don't miss out on my next video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a craftastic day, and I'll see you back here soon in the lab.